Hello guys, every good name is taken here and welcome to another video, and today we're gonna be doing another episode of the big project. Link to all other channels that are taking part is in the description, of course. And today I am gonna be having a look and reviewing the M48 Patton. And as always, let's start with a replay whilst we talk about the statistics. In this video I'm gonna be comparing the M48 Patton to the STB1 because I feel like those are the two you could compare the most together. I could of course use the M60, but I want to keep it to Tech 3 tanks only. So already from the get-go I have both tanks, the configuration with the gun rammer, because I think in my eyes that's the best choice. And already you can see that the Patton has nearly 3000 DPM. It has a little bit worse than the STB, but only slightly. You got 263mm of APCR penetration, which is a bit better than the STB, but not significant. Really, you got 350 alpha, with heat you got 330 penetration and 300 alpha, pretty standard for 210. You got a reload of 7 seconds, as you can see right here, and your shell velocity is nearly 1500, so you can snapshot quite well on distance. The aim time is really good on this tank with 1.8 seconds, but for all tier 10 mediums it's on the lower half really, as the STB outshines it by 0.1 seconds. Your dispersion is also not the greatest of 0.32, so you shouldn't expect to hit every shot where you aim it at. You got 9 degrees of gun impression, which is 1 degree less than an STB, which might not seem like a big deal, but in reality this 1 degree can make a difference. So you should really be careful when playing this tank. You are not that mobile with this tank. You got 48 kilometers top speed forward and 20 backwards. So don't expect this thing to go fast anywhere. You got a pretty meh horsepower per ton and also an engine power on its own, which is probably still on the lower end of all of those mediums. It's not mobile, but we'll get to why that is the case in a moment. Your terrain resistances are better than an STB, meaning that even though your stats are overall a bit worse, that terrain resistance is gonna make up for it. And well, I guess let's get to the main part this thing is really good at, and it's showing its big old turret. As you can see, we already bounced 2600 shots damage, and yeah, turret can hold up pretty nicely. You got 178mm of frontal turret protection, 76 on the side and 51 at the rear. For the whole it's 110, 76 and 35. So don't show your ass to the enemies unless you want to get HE'd really badly, cause that is gonna stink. You got a tiny cupola on top of your tank, but if you know how to wiggle and just move back and forth a bit, you should be able to avoid them hitting that, but you should not rely on that, absolutely. Your cheeks can also be heated, so you need to be really aware of that. Even though you do play hold down, if the enemy decides to fire heat at you, or if it's just a tier 10 TD, it could easily go through on the cheeks next to your gun mantlet, so be aware of that. And as your hull, as I said before, is not the greatest, you do want to keep this thing hull down. With its 9 degrees of gun depression, that should be pretty simple to do as well. And so yeah, that's basically it for the statistics, and let's wrap up this game here on Yamato Harbor. I actually don't know what's so wrong with my aim here, or with the replay. I really don't know. It looks a bit sketch to me, but let's just try to ignore it, I guess. So we blocked 3k damage. Armor did pretty good. We would have died there definitely if we didn't block one shot less than the amount of what we did. And now it's just time to hunt down that last Sheridan there, 700 hit points. Basically a 2-shot for us, if we can roll higher than average. And I'm just looking, where's he gonna go? Expecting him to go there, pre-fired. Then I got stuck on this rubble. I also didn't high roll, so he's still just round about a 50-50 whether we can kill him in one shot or not. And I'm expecting him to come back here, which is why I already moved up. I tried to go through there, but there was no angle for me to shoot at him. Ah, I think this is out of sync, this replay. Now I see. And now, didn't high roll, so I have to put another shot into him as he survived with 14 HP. And I cannot take a shot either, he stopped, and yeah, I really think it's out of sync, what the hell. Anyway, we did pretty good in this game, 4.6k damage, 3k blocked, we got 3 kills, we got a couple hundred of assistance as well, which will result in us getting an ace tanker here, quite low in damage, but the 1.7k assistance make up for that. And of course, now let's just hop into a live game to see how I do react and how I think of going into a battle with this tank. So, I'm gonna repeat myself, but it's American, so hold down as much as you can. Your hull is very weak. You can easily get ammo wrecked in this tank, like any other American tank. It's right in the lower plate on the left and the right, so try to avoid getting hit there. And we land on 4 to spare. Now we got a couple of options here. We could go to the cap on the stone wall and go hold down. We could go a bit next to the cap and go hold down near the bushes, or what is also possible, we could go into the corner, and as they have 2 mediums and a Sheridan, I think that seems like our best option. But the team is deciding against it, so let's take that position up there first. If we don't have any support, then there's no use in going there. Could have probably avoided that if I took the longer route. If we can spot something out here as a PTA. Now with this tank, in this position he is actually quite strong. But you need to be careful not to camp too much, because these guys over here could just die and you're sitting there and doing nothing. So you should not estimate your amount that you should stay here, I guess. So that Sheridan keeps looking at us, so we have to be careful in peeking. That Leo PTA is also still having an eye, and that Progetto now pushed forwards. Let's put one into him. And the issue with this tank is it's quite tall, so as you can see the hole is bigger than that spot, meaning that it will be seen from down below. But a great amount of 9 degrees of gun depression here does the trick for that shot. If you had 8, you wouldn't have been able to pull that shot off. That's just how it is. So 1 degree's difference does really come in handy sometimes, because you got some tanks that are just at 8 degrees, some that are at 9. You rarely see 9, actually. Like an E5 has 8 degrees, I believe, and he wouldn't have been able to pull off that shot just because of the amount that he would have to depress the gun. And so it's neat, but it's not 10 now, of course, so it's not STB like. We're really having issues here with that Sheridan. Let's not peek out too far and just support the eyes for. Oh, we put one shot into the 100. Gonna put a second one into the lower plate. That object is still not coming out, so no need to pressure him in any shape or form. Oh, Ice 4 has died. So we gotta have to give a bit more presence here with our DPM. Else we could just get completely destroyed here. The Kennedy one is gonna push up. But Waffle received a big one from that Sheridan. The 704 seems to be wanting to move upwards here. That E75 is holding there quite nicely. But our grill is taking quite the beating. It's now taken out as well. It's really mostly all about that Sheridan now. Caught him off guard. Oh, unlucky. I tried to pick him up with that shot, but unfortunately I did not pen him. As you can see, the turret is quite strong on this tank, so we can do some occasional bounces. Oh no. I did a mess up there with my shot. Should have aimed that a bit better. Oh my god. So, we're probably gonna lose this here if he high rolls. Yep. That was my misplay, missing twice there on that Sheridan. Could have really changed the game, because a 704 has no turret. We could have probably flanked him. I also shouldn't have stayed there for too long. That was my misplay. But I guess we did okay here. We should have helped our team just a bit more. And that's basically how to play the Patton, but because I forgot about it, let's just go over the equipment really quickly that I decide to use. I use calibrated shells just for the heat, because 300 is really gonna struggle against the German heavies and some Russians as well. I use supercharge because you get extra decreasing of your APCR pen. Because if you didn't know, APCR loses extreme amount of penetration over distance, so this just helps with it really nicely, especially if you're not using gold that often. Then just vertical stabs to increase the aim time a bit. Gotta go for the defense system. You only really want to go for improved modules if you're going for rams, otherwise this should always be your pick. Then of course optics, going for extra armor just to make that turret and those cheeks a bit harder to pen. Then engine accelerator and the last two are unimportant, but I go for a toolbox and a consumable delivery system. And well, that's basically it about the M48 Patton. Next in the big project is gonna be the Sheridan, which should be posted on Ninja's channel. Link to all the channels, of course, again in the description. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you all again next time. Bye bye.